Remember the night of the hack? Remember what happened to you?
All I remember is I woke up 3 days later.
And what happened in those 3 days?
There hasn't been anything like this in the past. This is going to be affecting our economy in ways that are extraordinarily significant. The FBI announced today that Tyrell Wellick and F Society engaged in this attack.
Now we're changing up, the guard has begun.
People everywhere came to support us. And right now, they need to know we haven't given up, that we meant what we said about changing the world.
Round and round we go.
God's been changed more ways than one.
You not knowing what you did or didn't do. Our infinite loop of insanity.
I will follow my dreams no matter what.
I'm sorry, my dear. This is all in your head.
There's no order. There's no power.
There's more work to be done. Our revolution needs a leader.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Mr. Robot Season 2 video. I'm also going to do like a quick recap of Season 1, some of the core concepts, the big twists, so just careful for spoilers if you haven't seen Season 1. Mr. Robot Primer. So most of you have probably seen a little bit of the series. If you haven't seen it all, I'm just going to do a quick rundown of what it's about, why everyone went so crazy for it in Season 1, and some of the new things that they're tackling in Season 2, because it's actually going to be pretty topical. If you remember earlier this year, Apple got into a bit of a feud with the FBI over the matter of cell phone encryption or smartphone encryption. 2 terrorists had perpetrated a mass shooting. 80 people were involved. 80 people were injured or killed. So naturally, the FBI is trying to get as much information about them as possible. And for most of us that use our phones for pretty much everything, your entire life is on there. So that's a really big source of information for the FBI to learn about these terrorists. But the phone was locked. The FBI could not unlock it. The encryption was too strong. So they went to Apple and said, Tim Cook, will you help us unlock this phone? Will you build software for us that will allow us to crack anyone's phone in the world? And Apple was like, whoa, that is not cool. That gives you way too much power, way too much access to private information. And the main argument is that if Apple created a workaround into future iPhones, then that could be exploited. And it didn't want to do that. Like as evil as big corporations are, like you learn in Mr. Robot Season 1, evil big corporations, some of them do want to protect you. Apple wants to protect you. So they got into a big feud with the FBI. They're going to tackle that idea of encryption during Mr. Robot Season 2. Now, they're not going to do like Apple versus the FBI type of thing. It's not going to be exactly like the San Bernardino shooting, which was like the name of the big terrorist event. Now, as much as the end of Season 1 resolved the main conflict of Elliot versus E-Corp, or Evil Corp, however you want to think about it, it also laid a bunch of seeds for other big things, like, oh my god, there's so much more going on than we knew about. There'll be another central storyline. Evil Corp is still very much a thing. Now, Angela is actually working there for, like, one of the big bads of the first season, so she's in the belly of the beast. So thematically, Season 1 was all about taking down evil corporations. It was like the millennial hacker version of Batman rallying against the system. Like, I'm gonna tear this down. But on the same coin, you find with Angela's character is that she needs Evil Corp because her father's so deep in debt that he's going to lose everything and be on the street. So she needs money, she needs a job, she needs this relationship with Evil Corp. So now they're kind of on opposite sides of the fence. Like, she's going to have to try and retain her persona while she's inside this corporate, not become a product of the system and become an evil character, just while Elliot is going to continue to try and tear them down. So in a real binary way, they're continuing that thing, like continuing some of the themes that they set up in the first season. But now they have to deal with the consequences of what Elliot did. Like the government's probably going to get involved. Whereas before he was just trying to fight against Evil Corp, now all these other people who have assets that were tied to Evil Corp and were affected are going to be coming after him. F Society, like this mysterious organization that Elliot has concocted without really realizing it is going to have to rally. You learn a little bit more, like there's the big twist at the end of season 1. So just one more spoiler alert if you haven't seen season 1. So spoilers, the big twist is that it's a Fight Club story and he invented Mr. Robot. He's this fictional representation of his subconscious speaking to him as his father, driving him to do the things that he knows he should do, but that his conscious mind couldn't bring him to do before. So he mentally breaks down, and his subconscious fictionally resurrects his father, and they orchestrate the takedown of Evil Corp with all these moving pieces. But because Elliot is so strung out all the time, especially with his meds, he'll go for days at a time without realizing what he's done. Like he'll just wake up a couple days later. The way the show plays with time is just fascinating. So in a way, it's like the essence of what a good cable drama is, in that it doesn't over-explain things, and the dynamics between characters change on a continual basis, and it's highly serialized, so you need to watch every week to keep up with the story. So if you're looking for like a really good Breaking Bad level drama of the summer with like a bit of a sci-fi genre twist, Mr. Robot is on USA Networks in the United States. You have to check your international stations depending on where you live in the world, but it's a Wednesday night show. They do put episodes on the website the day after though. So if you don't have TV, you can actually watch the episodes on usanetwork.com, like on their Mr. Robot official page. But there will be 12 episodes. They're airing weekly, so the videos that I post for it will be Wednesday night. If you guys want me to do weekly videos, just let me know. I'm definitely going to do this first episode. They already posted part of it early, but it's like a 2-hour episode. They've only posted like the first hour. So I'll post my video for it on Wednesday night after they drop the whole thing. Remember, it's like a 2-hour premiere. So be sure to subscribe to get that. And if there's any specific questions about the show or about the characters or the big twist, just let me know in the comments. It's one of those shows that it really just, like the stuff that we talk about and the stuff I put in my videos will just depend on what you guys want to talk about most. Because we meet people like B.D. Wong's character, then we find out that he's actually the head of like his own evil corporation. So it's like, oh my god, he's playing both sides of the fence. Then you have characters like Joanna, played by Stephanie Corneliuson. You have Tyrell. You really don't know what's going on with them. Like you meet Tyrell's character and you're like, okay, yeah, he's just like the typical douchebag you would run into at a corporation like this. But then by the end of the series, you're like, oh my god, he's totally in on this. What the hell is going on between him and Joanna? As cool as Elliot is, like finding out the big twist with his father, Mr. Robot, the reason why the show is called Mr. Robot, the computer fix-it shop that his father used to run, Joanna was probably my favorite character, just because you're like, I have absolutely no idea what's going on with her. You get a sense that she's controlling Tyrell. She's a much bigger part of this grander conspiracy that they're slowly unraveling on the show. Like, what is going on? You have absolutely no idea. It's so fascinating. Like, you're only going deeper down the Matrix rabbit hole in season 2. So I would advise you to at least check it out if you haven't watched it before. If you have, you totally know what I'm talking about. You're like, oh yeah, I know. It's fucking amazing. So take the red pill this summer. It's 12 weeks of awesome. I'll be posting videos Wednesday nights for it. So while you guys wait for my next video to post, you can click here to learn all about Suicide Squad, Comic-Con this summer, and you can click here for my top 10 Game of Thrones episodes. Like I basically ranked all of my Game of Thrones Season 6 episodes. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.